Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset podcast with me, Johnny Pardo. And today I welcome Dane Johnson to the show. And I'm excited to jump into our conversation around health, around Crohn's colitis, and around holistic nutrition and much, much more. So I'm just going to introduce Dane and then we're going to dive into the conversation. So Dane Johnson is a holistic nutritionist and founder of Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle, where he has helped over 1,000 individuals improve Crohn's and colitis symptoms through integrative healing systems. His work blends nutritional therapy, lifestyle design, emotional healing, and emerging regenerative therapies to help clients rebuild gut integrity and long-term resilience. Dane is a husband and father of two, and his personal healing journey continues to shape his mission and the work he brings to the global IBD community. Welcome to the show today, Dane. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Johnny, and I'm sorry for that intro bio being such a mouthful. I'm happy to be here, and I just want to put out an affirmation that we're here to get results, help people recover their gut health, which can help with mindset, sleep, energy, skin, bowel movements, all the shameful things. I've been through them all, life-threatening symptoms of myself, and I just want to put it out there. Let's get massive results. Let's really heal. This is what we do. We specialize in this. We believe we're the best in the world at this. We see thousands of people around the world, and we've seen all the cases. And I hope that today we can just unlock some root cause, some why, some where do I start, and make this worth everyone's time. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know many people who I've known like personally and even reaching out from this podcast have struggled with different kind of symptoms, different kind of things in health. Maybe it's mental, maybe it's physical, often both. So I'm really glad we can sort of bring this to attention today. And I know you're adding a lot of value. So thank you for the work you're doing, Dane, for the world. So Dane, for the individual who doesn't know, what is Crohn's colitis, just for anyone who's not familiar? Yeah. And yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about your personal journey that's obviously got you so fired up to help people with their health, with all the modalities you're using.
Yeah, you have to be fired up to be doing what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 12 years, talking about gut health and bowel movements and helping chronically sick and life-threatening cases and trying to find real natural solutions that actually work. And I never thought I'd be doing this in, I'll tell you, high school or college, but it's been a long road and a beautiful road, and I'm happy that I can help, and I've found a passion and a purpose. You know, with IBD, the biggest thing is understanding really IBD versus IBS. And IBD is called inflammatory bowel disease. And a lot of us, most of us are actually dealing with irritable bowel syndrome. So they can have common symptoms, but one is a chronic autoimmune disease, IBD. The two most common forms are Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. There are other names for it, such as proctitis or microscopic colitis or collagenous colitis, but really it all kind of falls mostly under the umbrella of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. The difference is Crohn's disease is chronic inflammation from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, all the way down to the colon. So it's widespread GI tract. Ulcerative colitis is localized to the colon. So your GI tract is around 28 feet long. Ulcerative colitis focuses on the 7 to 8 feet of the colon is inflamed chronically. We don't know why. Crohn's disease is the entire GI tract. Now with irritable bowel syndrome, the biggest difference is we're not seeing that chronic inflammation. We're not seeing the ulcerations. We're not seeing in an endoscopy, colonoscopy, and a IBD antibody panel, blood work, the chronic inflammation. So with IBS, roughly they consider, 15, 22%, somewhere in there of America are dealing with this. So we're talking about, if America's 350 million people, we're talking 70, 80 million people, somewhere in that range, just generally speaking, ballpark. And I think it's very similar in UK, similar in Canada. The Western world is where this is growing. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a bigger problem. That's IBD, but also IBS. So IBS is growing at an alarming rate. IBD is growing at an alarming rate. The biggest difference is IBS is not considered an autoimmune disease. It's not considered incurable. It's more considered a condition that's more annoying. It's not something you need to take drugs for the rest of your life with irritable bowel syndrome, where IBD is. And most people with IBS are not going to be looking at potential surgeries like some of us with inflammatory bowel disease are. So those are the main differences. Now, IBS, you can get urgency, constipation, bloating, cramping, diarrhea, skin reactions, food sensitivities, chronic, bowel movements at night, or, every time you eat, you feel like you're 6 months pregnant is very common. And in my opinion, I think the first thing I like to leave people with is I really see IBS as pre-IBD. Johnny, how they say it's pre-diabetic? I think it's very similar. Now, we don't have lab work to actually confirm a pre-IBD diagnosis, but when I see someone with chronic IBS, I think one or two more things could happen, and you could be looking at a new diagnosis of IBD. So I want everyone to understand that a diagnosis is subjective. It's not an objective truth, right? Like there's gravity, that's an objective truth. But the idea that you only have IBS and you don't have IBD can change. So I've seen many people who were diagnosed IBS, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Years go through, we don't check this, we don't learn about it. We have to go on a round of maybe antibiotics, or we take certain things and boom, our body is reacting heavily, having a reaction. Now another doctor's calling it IBD. So a diagnosis can be subjective. First thing is I think we should all start acting now, because I think proactive health is the answer for your best life. So that's IBD, that's IBS, the big differences. And with me, I got into this because I was diagnosed with severe IBD. I got first symptoms at 19 years old. Today is my 39th birthday, so 20 years ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Sagittarius, if that means anything, who knows? And I was first diagnosed with left-sided ulcerative colitis. Then I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And then another doctor said I had no ulcerative colitis with gastritis. They're just ulcerations, inflammation in the GI tract. And then another doctor said, nope, this is widespread Crohn's disease. So I eventually just called it Crohn's colitis. It was life-threatening. It was terrible. On my 27th birthday, I nearly died of complications from widespread inflammatory bowel disease. I was in a hospital for a month, and I had already been on Remicade, Entyvio, prednisone, 6-MP, methotrexate, antibiotics like Skittles for years, prednisone for Skittles for years. I was on TPN feeding tube. I went from 185 pounds to 122 pounds, 6'2", not really able to walk. And then I was housebound for a year after I found one of my root causes that helped save my life. And then it took me a year housebound to be able to start doing things again. Really, I'm here because I went through a great amount of pain. I wish I had what I have now. Community, self-empowerment, training to be able to use conventional and natural together, to have options, to be empowered to understand what else you can do besides just take antibiotics or steroids or immunosuppressants, and to start realizing, why am I bleeding? Why am I so bloated? Why am I getting such bad skin reactions? Why is my hair falling out? Why do I have no energy ever? Why is it no matter what I eat, I get undigested food in the stool or cramping, or I'm always constipated? Why is it everyone else I see around me can eat McDonald's and they're fine, but if I touch that stuff, I'm in bad shape? And so we don't know why we have to skate around food and we have to skate around modern day society. And that just further battles the helplessness, the depression, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the self-esteem. I'm not worth it. I'm not valuable enough. I mean, when I was chronically sick, I had a lot of shame. I couldn't control my bowel movements. I thought a woman would never accept me. Going on a date with urgency, and forget it. Oh no, Dane, you're tall and you have this, and no. I was very scared, and I never would be accepted by anyone who would want to date a sick guy, a sick kid at 24 years old who can't control his bowel movements. What a shameful experience. So that's the reality I had in my head. And I just felt like I was Two-Face from Batman. I lived two different lives. And I didn't feel like, if I was to drink alcohol, I would be in physical pain. I would have blood in the stool. I would look like a crime scene in the toilet. It's not like, oh, I can get away with drinking. No, I can't eat that. I can't drink that. And all my friends and everyone around me is eating that and drinking that, and they're fine. So what goes through my mind? Why me, God? Like, how could God be so spiteful to me at 22, 23 years old? I just had the rest of my life ahead of me, and I couldn't do anything, it felt like. I was scared of airplanes, scared of cars. I was scared of a 10-minute car ride. I kept 2 pairs of underwear, kept a bag in the back, didn't want to drive with anyone else. I was scared to go out at night. People would invite me. I just became antisocial. So, now I have no symptoms. I never had to get the surgeries. The doctor said I had to get surgeries. I failed all these medications. I haven't taken and needed a medication in 10 years. It's not easy. It's not perfect. I've dedicated my life to this, and I've been able to relate with so many others and help so many others, thousands and thousands, every continent, every age, every diagnosis around IBD, every experience, because I'm in the same boat as people. I'm not talking from an ivory tower. I'm not just reading books. I'm living and breathing this. There's a difference. And I've just I'm just, devoted to building systems. So our practitioners, we have, people with naturopath doctorates and chiropractic doctorates and RNs and clinical herbalists, they all have IBD. So we all have IBD. We all specialize in IBD. We all focus on beating IBD, and that's what we do. And so that's kind of the prerequisites of why I'm here, why I have passion about this, turn pain into purpose, and why I feel convicted that I have the authenticity and the ability to do something for our community, the gut health community, that very few people in this world are given the gift to do. And that's, I've been in the boat, I've been in the prison, I've gotten out. It's not easy. I've built the lifestyle, I've dealt with the emotional turmoil of, oh, can I never drink again? Can I never have gluten again? Can I never eat like everyone else? I can never go to a restaurant, dealt with all that, figured out spiritual freedom, how to make sense of it financially and where to invest my time, energy, and money, and how to connect with others on the same mission. So that's why I'm here.
Wow.
And that's why I feel like, I'm called to help.
Wow. Some of those things like gluten, alcohol, like fast food, are they still things to this day you have to avoid?
No. So
Okay.
So here's what I want to teach you. I want to eliminate, anyone who's listening to this, I want to eliminate a diet. I want to eliminate a diet, and I want to build a lifestyle. So I think a perfect example to wrap your head around this is if you look at a person who's vegan. Most people are vegan not because they think it's going to help their health. Some of them are, but a lot of them are vegan because they believe that it's a better way to live without killing animals so that they can survive. And so there's a lifestyle choice that they're saying, this is how I want to live. But can they handle physically eating meat? Yes. So it's not an I need, it's an I want. What we have to do is we have to, yes, invest in our way of life and invest on how we eat. But as you go, you're trying to change an I need to I want. I want to live this way. I want to eat this way. I don't want to poison myself. I have no interest in eating fake food made by man. I want to connect, and I want to feel completely satiated and filled and balanced with real earth food. And guess what? Pre-70 years ago, every human that ever walked the planet had those conditions because all this fake food did never even exist. Your grandfather never tried a Kit Kat bar. Your great-grandfather never had anything out of a wrapper, never had McDonald's or Wendy's. So every human prior to 70, 80 years ago had that prerequisite. Can I get balanced and healthy and have a fulfilled life eating real food from the earth? That's the mindset change. And I said, if my great-grandfather could have a great life on these terms, why can't I? And I've still got the internet. He didn't have that. I can take all the good and then realize, almost like if my great-grandfather was here and talk to him, it's like, if he can do it, I can do it. Right? I don't have any. Does Doritos really give you a healthier life or a better life or more happiness? Donuts, Starbucks? And I've taken it one step further that I've just realized also nowadays, alcohol doesn't make me happier. I can drink. I don't want to drink. Now, everyone here listening, I want you to make that decision for you. I want you to just write down right now, what do you want? And what changed my life is I wanted to be free more than I needed to eat crap food.
It's like the real incentive behind it, because things like what's coming to my mind, Dane, is kind of like when you think of things like alcohol, maybe junk food, it tends to be that feeling behind it. It's like it gives you that kind of maybe like feel good or kind of brief like feel good moment, but actually I believe that's available in other ways that you can find. Yeah, it's just what
You're
do you
absolutely
want?
right. And you can sub. So try this. Don't eliminate, substitute. Make your desire for what you want bigger than what you think you need. And if you get that conviction there, it will be uncomfortable. The change worth doing is always uncomfortable. If it's not uncomfortable, you're not doing it right. If you're looking to do something great in your life or get more free or get more happy or get in better shape or get rid of your GI issues or get a better job or get in a better relationship, it has to be uncomfortable. Because if it was comfortable, you would have already done it. Everyone listening, we're smart people. We have 40,000 thoughts a day. We're constantly thinking, but we're thinking about things that are in our comfort zone. So the big fish, the real fish, are right outside that comfort zone. And you have to be discerning about which one of those, that uncomfortable thing is actually not a good thing versus, okay, I think this is a limiting belief and I should go there. And I realized that alcohol, snacking, Doritos and combos and gluten-free bread and going to these fast food restaurants was all a limiting belief, and it wouldn't help my life to keep them in my life. So ask yourself, how does it help me to keep this in? Write the list. How does it help me to get rid of this? Write the list, and you'll have your answer. And once I saw that it was obvious, right on the paper, now I've just got to go through the emotional turmoil of saying, now, how do I get happy? Like a lot of us, if we got our hand chopped off, we'd have to go through a real uncomfortable struggle of getting happy with one arm. I'd have to relearn how I wipe my butt and brush my teeth and do a push-up or workout or drive a car. It would be a very uncomfortable scenario. But eventually, we're called to figure out how to get happy with that experience. And that's what it was. It was so depressing to have a chronic, incurable autoimmune disease where I had to use the bathroom 15 to 20 times a day and lose all this weight. And I couldn't eat food. It was like I was allergic to food. And I had to go through an extremely uncomfortable amount of time, years, to then refine balance and refine happiness. And what I'm here to say is on the other side of the coin is a better life than you ever had beforehand. If I never got Crohn's and colitis, what I'm saying is I prefer my life now to the way I eat and the way I lived and how I spiritually felt before I ever had IBD.
Wow. That's a huge transformation and way of seeing it.
So I think everyone, if you really want to reframe your mind, you have to journal, write it down so you can see what's going on. Extract the deepest beliefs and the thoughts and then be able to read it to yourself. What is the life you desire? And what's holding you back from that is fear, limiting beliefs, discomfort. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel bad. It will feel alone. It will feel isolating. These are all things that God or the universe kind of holds us to try to keep us in the box.
Yeah.
Keep us in the box, right? A lot of us know the answer. We're just not willing. What's easier, to try to dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim and you're not a 6'6" Kobe Bryant, or just not eat gluten for 30 days? What's actually physically easier?
Out of the two.
The obvious one is that we physically can't jump that high and palm a basketball like Kobe Bryant. But all about not eating gluten for 30 days or not drinking alcohol for 30 days is all about an emotional conviction not to do. See, if I want to dunk a basketball, I've got to go practice 4 days a week, get my vertical higher, continue to every single day push on the offense. What we're talking about here is all just restrainment. How do I get back? How do I connect with people? Same thing, alcohol, gluten, McDonald's. How do I make sense of it financially? How do I make sense of it with how I connect with people and I love and I smile and do my Friday nights? How do I make sense of a first date or second date? How do I do this with my marriage? So it's more of the discomfort. So if you can get this foundation that all success from where you are right now will be uncomfortable, and if you can get to a point that you know that even though it's uncomfortable, that this is actually a life you want, and then you can go through the fire spiritually, you're going to win. It's just a matter of time. It's guaranteed. And so the way I made decisions, and I slowly peeled the onions of limiting beliefs around this, because I grew up on McDonald's, Papa John's, all that, is I did the list and it was like, what are the cons of me doing this and what are the pros? And it was obvious. And then I just had to reset my spirit to get happy. So I'd go out and I wouldn't drink, but I would dance. I'd put my hands up in the air. I would love on my friends. I would have that energy of 2 drinks in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have that
trained
energy. I am making strong eye contact. I am asking about your life. I am involved with you because you are my friend and I want to be involved in your life. I'm having a conversation worth having. And then I'm gone by 11. I'm gone by 10:30 because that was the fruit. I just wanted to see you, connect with you, and I realized, man, everything after midnight was every dumb decision I've ever made.
Relate to that one as well.
I'm going to skip the midnight. I'm going to go get some sleep. And I'm more of an optimistic guy. I realize that I like sunrises more than sunsets. I want to be excited about what's about to happen, not nostalgic over what did happen. It's just me. That's just my preference. So these are all beautiful things. If you can, rule number 1, if you can start with your why, your belief system, your language, that is the foundation for success anywhere. Fixing your gut, finances, marriage, self-development. That's the foundation because that's where all action comes from. That's where consistency, that's where discipline, that's where not turning left and right. The more you get aligned where your focus is narrower and narrower, the greater compound effect you can have in your life. Example, same thing with Kobe Bryant, a basketball player. He spent almost all of his time focusing on his basketball game, which made him the greatest at that. So the more narrowed focus is on what you want, the greater the benefit is. If you look at anyone great, what they spend most of their time thinking, imagining, putting all time, energy, and money into, it's very narrowed. So if you're ready to heal, this brings me to a second point. It has to be your number 1 priority. We all have 24 hours in a day. What are you prioritizing? If you're tired of being upset at yourself, if you're tired of being alone, if you're tired of being sad, you have to focus this whole idea of what are the experiences of health, of happiness, And we can go down that rabbit hole, but I'd love to spend a little bit more time on some things that people could take away. That's cool.
Absolutely. No, I love that narrow focus bit of guidance as well, because I know we can have like all these priorities and information in this world thrown at us, and it's like this, that. But if health is your number 1 priority, health is your number 1 priority.
I think, and then this is a good one to write. If you can do 3 things in your life, 2 to 3 things really great, instead of 6 things okay, I think you'll get better results at anything you attack. Try to do less, but do it better. Try
Spend
to
more
do
time on the
Yeah.
lesser things than less
Yeah.
time on multiple things.
I'll meet someone who goes, okay, I want to heal. And all of a sudden they're on peptides and they're looking at 40 different supplements. Then they want to go to hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And then they are changing their diet. And then they're doing 7 things. You can do that, but you have to be really smart. You have to have a really good coach. And what happens is if I look at how well they're doing the nutrition plan, it's at 70%. And they're getting impatient because they've said, well, I just threw 6 things in 3 weeks. Whereas if they'd have just done 3 things in those, few weeks, it wouldn't have felt as much. Like your body's going to need a certain amount of time for an effect. And that 30% fall off they had a nutrition plan might have 10x the problem in their body that peptides or hyperbaric oxygen chamber couldn't affect. It's like you can put as much clean water in a bowl as you want, but 1 drop of oil can really mess it up. I don't care how much more clean water you put in. If you've got 1 or 2 drops of oil, the whole thing's just ruined. So if you do less and you do it better, you have less variables. That's less stress. You're able to control the moving variables better. Was it the peptides? Was it the food? Was it last night's dinner? Was it the supplement I don't feel good on? So I can control it better. It's easier to be consistent and it's more simple, and more simple always creates more happiness, more calmness, less anxiety. To be successful in life, it has to be simple. You have to take something really hard and make it simple. That's what they say about greatness, right? Oh, he makes it look easy. She makes it look easy. It's a common phrase to someone who's great. So now we're dissecting what success looks like. We're going, oh, I get it. I have to take something hard and make it look easy, make it simplified. So what I did with my life is I don't have a diet. Why? Because it's way simpler to not have a diet. It's way easier. I eat whatever I want, but I have no desire in poisoning myself. Get it, Johnny? I have no desire. You want to pay me $1,000? I'll go eat a Papa John's pizza with you. We'll go run 5 miles. I'll go eat a Papa John's pizza and crack a beer. My body can handle it, but I never do it because it's just poison. So I've gotten rid of the desire. Going back to what we talked about, what a lot of vegans carry. They can handle a steak. They have no desire. So be discerning over why you desire, what you desire, and what are the pros and cons. And then you can just, that's where there's low risk, high reward, and you can easily start working on limiting beliefs today that will change your life. So that's going to change. So where do I think people start today? I want you to start with what you're not going to do. Let's go back to the metaphor of dunking a basketball. The physical ability to dunk on a 10-foot rim. Any woman, 99% of the women or men listening will never be able to dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim. It's physically not there. But every single person, no matter your physical attributes or your life, can focus on eliminating things from their life. The goal of not doing is much easier than the goal of doing. So write that down. What can you say that I'm going to build balance in and not do? Things that I have always worked really well for me. I'll give you a few that you can try. And I maybe just pick one today, but write them down so you can keep looking at them. Because as I looked at these over time, I got more confident. Like Johnny, a year later, like, you know what? I'm ready. I wasn't ready to be gluten-free for a long time. Even when I was getting healing results, I still had gluten here and there. And it's just read more books, talked to different experts around gluten, looked at different lab work, how my body was responding to gliadin, what was happening to my gut lining called leaky gut, zonulin production. So number 1 could be gluten. Number 2 could be glyphosate, foods with glyphosate. Number 3 could be alcohol. Here's another one. What about snacking? Oh, Dane, I love these masa corn chips. That's another great snack if you want one. Masa, M-A-S-A, corn chips. 3 ingredients, nixtamalized to make it as clean as possible. Well, maybe we just have those masa chips with the meal. It's not that you can't have that snack food. Just give yourself bowel rest and eat it with the meal. Say, Dane, that's a good one. I'm just going to only eat 3 times a day. I won't stick anything in my mouth to eat except these 3 times a day. And I'll drink water besides that, or whatever it is, green tea, whatever, right? Or chamomile tea. I'm going to see the not doing goal. That's the best way to start. You could have massive changes in your bloating, constipation, cramping, pain by just getting rid of common triggers. You know how many people have gotten their skin glowing by getting rid of processed dairy or gluten reaction? Wow. You know how many testimonies out there of people eating gluten who have a severe reaction to it? It's affecting their liver enzymes, their gut enzymes, their mental health, their sleep. What's going to be your goal of not doing? And don't overwhelm yourself. Prove it, you can do it. You don't try to run a 7-minute mile till you can run a 10-minute mile. Metaphorically, right? Of a running. Just get a nice little jog. Just prove you can run a mile Forget the time. Just prove that you can start eliminating snacking, or you can go to bed at the same time. I'm not going to stay up late. I'm not going to watch this movie till 1 a.m. I'm not going to keep drinking these soda pops. Maybe I'm just going to get rid of soda. All of us go, well, if I'm going to get rid of soda, then I need to hire this coach, and I need to go on the diet, and I need to go get a personal trainer and go 3 days a week, because I'm all in or nothing. I'm not a big fan of that. Most people, I don't find, generally speaking, that works. Okay. Now, the exception doesn't disprove the rule. My rule is a lot of people are out there just start to feel better. If you can do it for 3 weeks or 4 weeks and not do, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't even think about it anymore. Now we can get on the offense, because now you can start jabbing. Right? So, and then maybe you can stack them. Maybe you can say, I'm just going to work on this, not do, and I'm going to do that, not do. Because that's what's also going to be your goal. Like if you said, I'm only going to eat 3 times a day and no snacking, what's that going to do for your waistline? What's it going to do for insulin spikes? What's it going to do for bowel rest? Potential constipation? What's it going to do to your budget? Are you going to save $300 a month? What's it going to do for your emotional ability when you're feeling the urge to eat this or eat that, and you can continue to practice calming your sound? You're like, I'm a different person now. I have more control over urges. So if I just not snack and not drink, the more I didn't drink and I was around people who was drinking, I just didn't envy it. I wasn't missing anything. Because if you're drinking, Johnny, and I'm with you, and we're in Cabo or we're in Bermuda, if you are my friend and I'm connecting with you sober, Johnny, man, what's up, dude? So great to see you. How are you? How's the podcast going? What do you focus on? What are your goals? Yeah, you guys having another kid? What are you thinking? Oh, you think you're gonna get married? Oh man, yeah, I'm interested in you. You are my friend. I want to hold space for you. I want to see you win. I want Johnny to get rich, happy, healthy. I want to see him. I'm bringing that energy. And I want to do the same for me. What does alcohol have anything to do with it? If it's funny, I'll laugh. I don't need to be drunk to laugh, So that's where the limiting beliefs over time is just like, man, I can dance. Like I like salsa dancing. I'll go salsa dance and lead that up. I like going out, maybe playing a little poker. I like seeing my friends on the boat. I like spearfishing. Like, is it because there's a limiting belief that you think you're boring, that you can't entertain?
Or what do people think of you? Like if you, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You're not interesting enough. So that's where all my limiting beliefs started coming out. Like, why do I need to drink this beer? Oh, because we're playing beer pong in college, right? So what are you not doing is going to be a big one I want you to take away. Number 2, this is extremely important if you are lost and overwhelmed with life. Journal 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes a day. And I want you to build your healing journal. Now, the idea of this is like, well, people get lost on this because they don't know what the journal about. See, I journaled every day about how many bowel movements I'd had, how much blood, how much mucus, how much urgency, what did I eat? And then I could look the next day or 5 days later and say, my blood's less, my energy's less, my skin is better, my weight is in a better place. And I could look back at 1 or 2 weeks of everything I ate and everything I did. And it only took 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. So if you're here and you're saying, I want to get in great shape, I want to understand my macros, journal. I want to understand why I have mentally a really good Tuesday and a really crappy Wednesday. Journal. Is it close to, did you have alcohol? Did you have too much sugar? Is there something going on with your hormones? Is there a menstrual cycle? Is it the winter and you're not getting as much sun? Because you can start tracking things. How you feel, if you get out of your feelings for a second and look at your journal, you can go, oh, look, I only worked out twice this week. No wonder I'm putting my mental health at a 6 out of 10. See?
Powerful self-awareness.
Dr. Dane can check on Dane twice a day for 5 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm not feeling this way. My physical attributes are not where they want to be. I'm not happy about this. And you can start discerning what changed in your week. No one feels great if they don't act. Name one person who's going to feel great if they're in solitary confinement. That's the far spectrum. If you haven't been working out, haven't getting sunlight, haven't been talking with your friends, haven't been social, haven't been getting dressed for the day, you've been binging TV all day long, you're not actually living your life, of course you feel bad. And don't let yourself rub that off to, well, it's this diagnosis or that, because that's what it was. Oh, well, I have IBD. It's the diagnosis. No, because I'm refusing that identity and that's not going to be my life. And I have to get uncomfortable in that. It all comes back around. So journal, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. Just buy one of these little notebooks and just fill it out for 5 minutes. And after 2 days, what I started noticing is like, you know what? I want to track if I'm taking in a half a gallon of water a day. You know what? I want to track what time I go to bed. You know what? I want to track how much I weigh in and how much I'm fluctuating. You know what? I want to track if I'm 1 out of 10, 10 being the worst, how much blood. You know what? I want to track how many days I'm seeing diarrhea. You know what? I want to track the days if I got at least 20 minutes of sun and a walk-in. All of a sudden, my happiness score is at a 6, and I could just look back at it. Now, Dr. Dane looks at this jokester, Dane, who's crying about his, he's chronically sick, and I have all these reasons to be angry, sad, resentful, upset, right? I have all these reasons. Oh, I've got an incurable disease. I've been housebound for a year. I wasn't able to work. I spent all my money. I'm broke. I mean, all these justifications. But because I didn't want it, the journal now would look at me and go, Dr. Dane, well, Dane, I see here that you just binged Narcos for the last 3 days, and you didn't go out, and you didn't get ready for the day or go for a walk or get any sunshine, and you didn't call anyone you love and have a good conversation with them. You fell off reading 20 pages a day of a book that empowers you and makes you feel great. Just name it. It was just like I could literally just do it. And what I would do is I'd call myself Dr. Dane because it helped me with that. Get out of your feelings and get in your mind. And I go to the Nights and Notes, I called it. And I'm going to put a link. If anyone wants my healing journal, Johnny, I'm going to send it to you. Free down. You could use my journal. Okay, it's an IBD journal, right? But still, you can kind of get the idea of it. I go to Nights and Notes and I go, tomorrow, go for a 25-minute walk, reads these pages, does this, and I go a week later and says, has accomplished this, 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 and this. 3 days out, 7 days out, 20 days out. Well, the first time I was really committed to being gluten-free, I'm like 30 days. I would knock it off. It's like I've been 8 days. And I'd look at my symptoms, and it was like, if I saw a 15% increase in health over 15 days out of 30, and I know the biggest variable is I have been absolutely gluten-free for 30 days or 15 days. I'm like, that's most likely. It's like if you could see your stock rise by 15% in 15 days, Johnny, like your wealth stock, 15%. And you had to do 100 push-ups every morning and then, call 3 people and do 2 hours calls. Like you'd be like, all day, let's go. Like all day if I could see my portfolio grow by 15%. Well, what's more important, your financial portfolio or your health portfolio? How many of you are tracking your health portfolio? Man, someone's got to coin that and turn that into a thing. We're sitting here tracking our stock, financial stock. Why don't we track our health stock, right? And so it's like journal. The third thing I think that's going to be really changing your life. This is a harder one, but I'm going to give you one offensive one. Try to, however you can, try to increase what you eat to be what you prepared yourself. The hardest thing is understand what works for you. The biggest question everyone has is, what's the perfect diet? I got news for you. I've spoken with the best specialists, worked with the best specialists, tried carnivore, autoimmune protocol, SAD diet, GAPS diet, fasting, vegan diet, the fruitarian diet. Look, I've been around it for 12 years. I've worked with thousands of people on this. The best diet in the world, number one, is one that is from the earth, that is actually prepared and preferably prepared by you and your family, made in real time, okay? There's no diet better than those standards. And then beyond that is something that you are focusing your own time, energy, and money on. I see people on these different diets, but they continue to outsource it. And it's just not as valuable as doing it at home. Do you know how many variables you knock out when you prepare it? You knock out glyphosate, hidden MSG. You knock out emulsifiers like polysorbate 80. You knocked out pretty much all sugar. I mean, where do you find sugar in home cooked meals? Where do you find it? Berries, bananas, strawberries. That's it. So it's just like there's so many. That's an offensive one. If I had to give you a bonus one to work on is for gut health, choose 3 supplements that you think have big potential reward and very low risk. So the third one I'm going to say is about a little offensive. So maybe it's that the third one is try to eat more what you own cook. Like, can you cook your own breakfast? Can you do a home cooked meal 3 to 4 days a week? And what's that going to do for your finances? The biggest thing I did for finances is I didn't always increase how much I spent. I substituted. I got rid of alcohol. Now I have more money for that supplement. I got rid of snacking. Now I have more money for those sprouted nuts and seeds or that organic steak once a week, or that absorbed meal replacement or protein powder, right? I subbed my money. I didn't increase my spend. That gave me more of a want, not a need, right? If I get rid of alcohol, I just save $400, $500 a month. There's your car. What do you want more? Maybe give yourself a gift. I'm going to give myself a new car for $500 a month, and I'm going to stop drinking alcohol for the next 2 years until the car's paid off. What a deal that is.
Smart move.
Right? So sub it. So this sub is pick 3 supplements that have low risk and high reward. So what I do is I teach people categories of supplements. My goal for you is you can walk into a supplement store and you can categorize them before you can tell me about each individual supplement. 5 categories: probiotic for the gut. Okay, this is all based on gut. Probiotic, supportive supplement, mucosal healer. Mucosal healer is like a fire department, okay? Supportive supplements like the FedEx post office in the city. Probiotics are like your police officers. They regulate the town, the microbiome. Antipathogens, that's your SWAT team. That's the military. That's you send them in when you're ready to fight. And then binders. That's the cleanup crew, right? So I'm walking in and I'm showing Which one is this? Is that cleanup crew or is that police? Is that post office? So what are low risk and high reward? Low risk is going to be your police officers. They regulate the city. They don't necessarily attack. So find a good probiotic. I like Natren, Natren. And anyone with severe GI issues, I only use the combo pack. If you guys check this out online, just go look at the 3X combo. So the powders, not a capsule, and just try one powder at a time. It's a game changer if you know what you're doing. I can teach you all about that, but it's an absolute game changer. The second one is going to be a digestive enzyme. If you have IBS, IBD, undiagnosed, any GI issues, one of the biggest problems is we have low stomach acid. We have poor functioning pancreatic enzymes. Pancreatic enzymes break down your macronutrients so they can be absorbed in the small intestine. Okay, so that's your proteins, your fats, your carbs, and that turns into different vitamins and helps create cholesterol and gets all your electrolytes and minerals. You need pancreatic enzymes for that. So you want a digestive enzyme that has ox bile, pancreatic enzymes, and stomach acid, all three. Most people could use this, especially eating the trash food that we eat, and especially with the stress, especially with us eating on the run. Okay, because here's a good one I want everyone to write down. If you're not salivating, if your mouth isn't salivating, your digestion isn't at an optimal level for that meal. So you want to be relaxed, preferably salivating. You don't want to be eating on the run. And if you have any GI issues like small intestine bacteria overgrowth, H. pylori infection, chronic stress, poor functioning liver, you most likely have low stomach acid. If you're constantly bloated, cramping, urgency, any of those issues, there's a high chance you have low stomach acid, high risk. So use a digestive enzyme. The risk is you can get some heartburn if you take too much, so always take it before the meal. Speak with your doctor, it's not medical advice. Find a good digestive enzyme. So if I've got police officers and I've got a supportive supplement like a digestive enzyme, low risk, high reward, meaning you can get great results with that, but what's the downside? Not much. And then, and you can take them as needed. And then a third one would be, I would say, probably another supportive supplement like an anti-inflammatory. So if you're inflamed or things, I think a really good one would be like a really high-end fish oil. Now, fish oil is it's a great idea, but a crappy product. Does that make sense, Johnny? The idea of omega-3s is great, but most of the products out there, supplementation, they just stink. So if you can't readily get supplements, just make sure you're getting wild-caught salmon and maybe having some raw, good, clean, extra virgin olive oil, avocados, sardines if you can handle them, mackerel, yellowtail, all a great idea. But there's a product by a company called Body Bio, B-O-D-Y space B-I-O, and it's probably called, I think they just changed the name of it, but it's called Fish Oil Plus, and it's the best one because it's cold extracted, so it stops it from being rancid, because heat extracting causes omega-3s to go rancid. And then it's got a lipid fat around it called PC that keeps it from oxidizing from air and sunlight. And it's also got SPMs in it, which is really good for like arthritic pains. So it's like it's just good in so many ways. It's good for your cells. It's good for the gut membrane. It's super anti-inflammatory. PC can be taken long-term. You get a little bit of that. It's a nice light dose of omega-3s. It's just the perfect dose your brain needs to operate properly. So yeah, I'd say, so you see what I'm saying? My big point right now, Johnny, is if you guys have learned something today and you felt like there's a huge takeaway or even been overwhelmed, imagine what's possible when you put on the white belt and you start learning some jujitsu, metaphorically. When you start saying, holy cow, I can get empowered over my health. Now, what happens to my energy, my need for caffeine, my sleep, my mental health, my physical attributes, my sex drive, my ability to get a promotion, my ability to not be worried that, oh, I'm turning 40. I turned 39 today. Oh, I'm turning 40. I'm getting old. No. Old means sick, right? If you're healthy, you probably could kick your own butt at 45 than 25. What's the difference? A few more wrinkles, I'll take it. A few grays and a few wrinkles, but I could kick my own butt. What's the worry? So you get everything. You get more time at a higher vitality. You get more clarity. You get more confidence. You get everything. Write it down. What do I lose and what do I gain? The thing about being great about your health is it takes two of the most valuable currencies. It takes time and it takes energy. Both of those currencies are worth more than money. It takes a great deal of time and energy, and it also takes money. So the more you work with time and energy, the less money you tend to have to spend. The less you spend time and energy on this, the more money you're going to have to spend. And even then, you probably won't even get great results because you're not focused. It's not a priority. For things to be a priority, it takes two currencies. You have to pay them over. It's called time and energy, right? Three currencies: time, energy, and money. The least valuable is money, because you can always get more of it. And the stronger you get, the less energy and less time you have to spend to make more money, right? Isn't that the idea of retirement? I've spent so much time and energy that I no longer have to give it anymore for money.
It's just, those are the primary ones.
So those are the three currencies that you want to do. So So it all kind of wraps into this idea. Anything I want in life, so I want to feel better, I want to make more money, I want to find my partner, I want to feel better about myself, I want to get rid of my gut health issues. It comes down to this idea of priorities, understanding your limiting beliefs, leading your life, becoming the CEO of your health. And then you take this very difficult thing and you simplify it. So the last thing I would say to everybody is what I built was a way to help everyone do this. It's really what I needed. I built what I needed. I would recommend anyone at the beginning of this, overwhelmed by all of this, find a community, find a team that you can grow with. Because if you're stuck in a prison in your life, I would rather be stuck with a few thousand people than by myself. Get connected and get somewhere. So I focus on inflammatory bowel disease. In my opinion, I have the best IBD program in the world, hands down. There's not a coach, clinic, doctor, anything in the world close to what we've done, because it's all we do. We've been focused on it for 12 years before this was a thing. So we have thousands of members talking every single day through our private phone app, through our desktop app. We have doctors on staff. We don't act as doctors, but doctor trained people. We're global. We have clients in India, Africa, all over UK, Canada, US. We customize everyone's answer. We do not do generic plans. We do everything customized. Customized supplements, your lifestyle, your exercise plan, all of it. So find a place that's of integrity and trust and get connected, because that is one of the best uses of money to save you a great deal of time and energy. Find somewhere, other things, if you're ever looking for a program, find a program that allows you to talk to other members. If they don't let you talk to other members, to me, that's a huge red flag. Is this really good? Okay. Find somewhere that's hyper specialized. Find a community that is just trying to fix gut health, but trying to fix IBD, trying to fix multiple sclerosis, trying to fix bipolar thoughts, trying to fix psoriasis or skin reactions or whatever it is, right? Or moms. Find a hyper-focused community that you believe you can focus on, and make sure that the people running it are mission-driven. Do they really relate? Is there really a connection? Have they been through it themselves? Like when I try to partner with supplement companies or lab companies, I'm trying to look for people on a mission. I'm looking for people who have stories. I'm looking for people who have a reason why they're doing this besides just money. Money is not enough to create something great. Capitalism is not enough. You need to have some kind of spiritual connection. You need to have a moral code. And usually that comes from pain.
Find your community. And yeah, speaking of your community, Dane, obviously you've got yours, and you've got also, you mentioned your journal, which is amazing as well, and we'll link that below. But yeah, where can the listener find your community? And find out more about your stuff? Where's the best place?
Yeah, and also, Johnny, if it's cool with this, I'll send you another link that they can do below. So one of the best things you can do is schedule a free IBD session. Even if you're undiagnosed IBD, IBS, you can schedule a free 1-hour session to deep dive with our people. So there's no hassle, there's no gimmicks, there's no cost. It's really our ability to put our best foot forward and say, hey, how are you? What are you dealing with? Tell me your story. What do you need? What's important to you? Where are you? And we do that for around the world. You have to be able to speak English is the most important thing, but we hold that space. And, obviously we're looking for people who, are also in some level of ability to invest time, energy, and money into their case. If this is a extreme outside of the thing, and there's certain countries we can't support, like certain parts of India or Kuwait or certain parts of Indonesia, things like that. That's a free session, so that's where you can go. And it also lets us know you came from Johnny, and we'd love to know that you came from Johnny. So that's a free 1-hour session below. Another thing is follow us on Instagram or follow us on YouTube. That's where you'll see like live trainings or really great takeaways, or be able to connect and see other testimonies. We post a testimony every single week of completely reversing IBD symptoms. So it's amazing. So you can see more of that. That's all on YouTube and Instagram. We tend to post that. So find us there, Crohn'sColitisLifestyle.com. Say hello, and if you feel like you need someone to hold space for where you are, just schedule a free session and see if we can help you and talk about it. Get in there and start talking about, what do I want to accomplish? What's the problem? You're not going to get results until you start defining it. Find someone to listen and talk. This is the problem, and this is what I think I need. What do you think? Have that conversation.
Talking community, so powerful. I love that, Dane. And your takeaways, some of the great things you gave us today. Having like the no, what am I going to have no to? Like what I'm like journaling, that self-awareness. I think not just what I'm taking away is not just like the health side, but this could apply to other parts of your life as well, like journaling, becoming that super self-awareness, and then relating more to the health around the supplements is really great. And thirdly, you said about making something yourself, that raw thing as well. So lots of gold today. So we'll be sure to link all of Dane's links in the show notes below, including that free call you can jump on, and also the journaling and more of Dane's resources. So a big thank you, Dane, to coming on today.
Thank you, Johnny. God bless. Happy healing, guys.
Thank you. So that concludes our episode for today. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.